What's going on, everybody? This is Ken, and today we are talking about DJI FPV Drone. Yeah, why you gotta do this to us, DJI? Alright, so the DJI FPV Drone is supposed to be announced on March 2nd, which says on their website. So if you go onto their website, you can see the announcement that they're going to make. It is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern. So not Western, Eastern. So just remember that. Mark it down on your calendar. One day before my birthday, okay? DJI, I don't know what you're trying to do, but hint, hint, you know, your boy needs an FPV drone, so I wouldn't mind. Just saying. Anyways, let's get to the video. So what we're gonna actually talk about today is some of the stuff that I think the DJI might have because they haven't released all the information yet, and also what I think may be a little bit of a caveat when it comes to this drone and who it's actually for. So I'm pretty sure some of you have seen already some leaked images in terms of the new DJI FPV drone. But the thing is, we see these images, we saw some videos as well actually posted on YouTube, which they aren't supposed to post. It was just a mess. I think DJI have actually taken them down. I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard some people have been taken down when they posted that video because it was literally a full unboxing. But anyways, let's talk about the looks of this FPV drone. So when I first look at it, and I've seen some of the leaked video footages as well, it seems to be the wingspan of a Mavic Air 2. Now, obviously, I'm not 100% sure that is the size of it, but I'm just seeing it based on someone else's hand and how they're holding it, because the wingspan of these don't fold in like the Mavics. And so when I see it, it's almost looking like a Phantom without, you know, the little legs that pop down like the Phantom does. It has legs just like the Mavic series, but the body of itself is pretty chunky. And this is where I think there may be a caveat to some people that are looking for an FPV drone. So because of its sheer size, you're not going to have everything that you ever wanted in an FPV drone with DJI. This particular FPV drone, I believe, is more for those people that are filmmakers that love getting in the action and just have really epic footage. But the fact is, you might not be able to do some Sam Kolder moves that you might see on his channel where he flies through a tent, because this thing is pretty chunky. I mean, it's not those tiny little 3-inch propeller drone that you may or may not already have, but this drone is literally not for those tight little spaces that you want to go through. So if you are trying to do that, I would go with the regular FPV drones that you may find, like Cinewhoop and all those drones. So I would just stick to those. This is more for, I believe, professional filmmakers. But speaking of a drone for filmmakers, I am going to say that this camera may be 4K at 30 frames per second and not the 60 frames per second. And I believe if they're going to improve anything, they can just improve a little bit of the sensor size. Maybe it's going to be a bigger camera in general, so hopefully that gives it a better quality in terms of video. So let's take a look at the FPV drone, and I'm going to tell you what I think it might have on it. Now, the FPV drone, when you look at the front, you're going to obviously see the camera, and underneath the camera there's this little slit. This slit might be where you put the micro SD card, and underneath that you're going to see 2 sensors. And actually, if you look at the bottom side of this FPV drone, you're going to see 2 more sensors right underneath that, and then a main sensor for, I guess, when it lands. So this kind of gives me a feeling that, is it going to have any obstacle sensors when you're flying it? Is it going to avoid it? Or is it just going to warn you when you come close to something so you can avoid it? Because FPV drones in general don't have any sensors, so when you crash into a tree, you're going to crash into a tree. It's not going to avoid it for you. The ones on the bottom, I don't think this thing is going to hover. I heard on some news that the controller on the actual lever is not coiled, so that just means that there's no spring in there to bring it back, so it's just loose. But it's hard to not be curious as to why those sensors are on the bottom. Maybe again, it might be a warning, so you get this altitude warning when you're getting too close to the ground. So that's the only thing I can think for these sensors to exist on this drone, but I may be wrong. Who knows? We'll see. So if you take a look at this photo, it's going to be displayed at a certain angle, and this is basically the full forward angle of the actual drone. So obviously they've made the shape of this drone to have this particular type of feature because when it goes forward, it has that initial propeller push, so it's not really meant for hovering in one place like the Mavic series. This FPV drone is made for speed, I believe. And speaking of speed, I actually don't know what the actual speed of this is going to be, but because it's not going to be a racing drone, it is more likely going to be around the 50 to 80 miles per hour. I'm going to put this kilometer somewhere up here as well. And then the last thing I want want to talk about in terms of the body feature is the brains of the operation. At the top, you're going to see this encapsulated cap that's on it, which is probably made out of plastic. It has some ventilation holes in there. I think it may come with different colors. I don't know if that's going to be an option, if that's going to be included in the package. So I've seen some videos that has like a yellow cap that you can replace it with the clear one, but I'm not 100% sure. The only other concern I have with this cap is how durable is it? Because FPV drones, unlike the Mavic series, you're gonna crash it more likely than not. I just can't let go of this feeling of, could this cap just break on impact, and would it affect the internals? Because it is kind of right there, right? So hopefully this is enough of a helmet for the drone to protect it, but we'll just have to see after people purchase it and report their crashes and see what breaks. If anything, maybe the propellers might break first, but you know, we'll see. Also, just really quick, if you take a look at the back of the drone here, you're gonna see a big honking battery. This battery, I believe, is gonna be maybe twice of what the Mavic Air 2 batteries are, and it kind of makes sense because the speed of this, if it is going at 50 to 80 miles an hour, you're gonna need a big battery to support the flight time of this drone. I'm not sure what the flight time is going to be like, but I would hope for anywhere in between the 10 to 15 minutes. That will be pretty good for a drone of this size and probably this weight, because I don't think it's gonna be a lightweight drone. Now, the controller aspect of this actual drone isn't too much to look over because it is pretty simple, and the fact that I already mentioned the left stick is probably going to be not coiled. DJI has always been the user-friendly type of drones, especially for their Mavic series. But when it comes to FPV, I'm just very curious if it's actually going to be user-friendly, because some of these FPV drones that most people fly are not really user-friendly because, well, they're just really powerful to begin with at the very beginning, and it's a huge learning curve for you to get used to doing FPV drones. But some people are naturals, who knows? All right, so everybody wants to know the price of this FPV drone. Now, what I think the FPV drone is going to cost is going to be having two prices. The reason being is because usually DJI would have a Fly More combo, which will have more batteries, more propellers, more extra accessories, so you can purchase that. So I believe the base is going to be starting at maybe $1,200 US, and then going up to $1,600 US for this drone. I also believe that this is not the last of FPV drones in terms of the pro market is going to be coming as well for FPV drone. It may be a little smaller, slimmer, more agile, more speed. So that's going to be more the pro market of the DJI FPV drone. It'll probably use the same controller, but I believe that is going to be over $2,000. So I think with this, DJI is just trying to see if they should start making FPV drones and if this will catch on, because, you know, FPV can be long existing in the filmmaking world, or it can just go out just like a fad. So we're not sure. I think DJI is playing a smart move here and making consumer FPV drones before they go on to the professional level. But anyways, this is it for this video. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, smash the like button, turn on those notifications for future videos, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And hopefully DJI will come out with a pretty good drone. I'm excited. And also DJI, remember, I'm in Japan, you know, not too far away, just saying. All right, peace out, guys. See you later. Chair is shaking. Oh, seriously, DJI, why you gotta make my wallet go thin? Oh, it's almost the weekend.